let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
Stop! That's the signal! Go!
Drop
Go!
it! Six!
It's beautiful! Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude!
Start your day with a jolt of energy and no-holds-barred opinions. This is The Rush, where Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bring you bold, unfiltered, and uncensored takes on sports, life, and everything in between. Buckle up and let's go.
Everybody, good to have you along on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com or on the Android app, good to have you along. If you're watching on YouTube, hit subscribe. We like subscribers. Go ahead and give this video a like. If you want to leave some comments, you can do that as well. You can follow us on X at Rush Mornings. You can follow us on Facebook. Just search The Rush with Travis and Ross. And, of course, on Instagram, The Rush Radio Show. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. What's going on, buddy?
Not much, bud. How are you?
You know, just a busy weekend. I feel like I got a lot accomplished. I did manual labor, which is very uncharacteristic of me. And I had to problem solve during that manual labor. And I'm proud of myself. I gave myself a pat on the back.
What did you have going on? Yard work? No.
It was yard work. So
was it
you
really?
remember? Yeah, it was yard work. So you remember last week when the snow? Well, I don't think you got as much snow, wind, and stuff as we did. But I had a big part of my cherry tree come down, right? And it was just, I lost part of my fence, and then I've got this tree that's just hanging there, and I just kept it there. And my wife's like, we look like the worst people in the neighborhood. I said, I get that. She goes, are you ever going to go out there and clean it up? I said, I'm waiting for the right time. I'm just waiting for the right time. Well, yesterday was the right time, so I got up in the morning. She goes, where are you going? I go, I'm going to cut down a tree, or at least part of a tree, right?
You're talking about woman? What am I going to do?
I'm going to do what you asked me to do, just
going
not
to
on your
cut down a
timetable.
tree.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So I got the chainsaw out. Of course, I've got the battery-powered chainsaw, the Ego, right?
Okay.
And Owen doesn't like it when I run the chainsaw because he doesn't think I'm really capable of running the chainsaw, and he's probably right in that. Well, so I started chainsawing. So I start chainsawing. The first one went great, right? And then I go into the big limb, and I'm like, vroom, vroom, vroom. All of a sudden, the chain comes off, and it's all like tangled up. And I'm like, oh, what just happened? So I started looking, and I'm like, what do I do here, right? And then, so I looked, and I didn't check before I started using said chainsaw. It was out of oil. So the chain wasn't getting oiled as it was going through. So my first instinct isn't to problem solve.
Yeah,
it is
to buy a new one.
No, it's not even that. It is to text Owen and say, hey, bud, do you think you could come over for a couple seconds and help me get this chain back on? Well, he'd already been over in the morning to bring me something, and I didn't hear back from him. And I'm like, you know what? Put your thinking cap on, Justice. Put your thinking cap on. So I started, I took the chainsaw apart. It took me probably the longest to get the chain untangled. Got the chain back on, only to start chainsawing and going, I put the chain on backwards. So then
why isn't it working as well?
Yeah, why? I'm like, God, this is just not cutting as well. So then I had to take the chain back off, reverse it, and get everything back up. And then I put oil in the chainsaw, and I was full man after that. I felt yesterday that I earned my man card. I'm like, yes,
good for you, dude.
I accomplished
That's awesome.
something.
There is something about running a chainsaw.
Yes,
that's man stuff. That is.
But it wasn't running the chainsaw that made me feel like a man. It was fixing said chainsaw that made me feel like a man. Because my wife would have laid money down that there's no way I was going to fix it. Owen would have laid money down.
All
and said
of us were on the betting side of you. Not all of us were.
Yes, 100%. There's no way.
You just 16 seated that thing. Way to go, buddy.
Yeah, 16 seed just beat the
Huge
number 1
upset.
seed in the first round. So then I cut down a bunch of limbs, and then I had all these limbs spread out. And then I'm like, okay, I don't want to pick these up alone. That's when I came inside and said, honey, you want to come out here and help me pick these things up? So then Anjanette and I spent about 45 minutes, breaking limbs up. We got like 5 or 6 full like yard waste bags full of stuff. But it's nice to take those bigger limbs and cut them up into kind of little tiny logs and get them put away. So that was my big accomplishment over the weekend. I felt like I did something.
You did? No, you did do something. Did some man work. Good job out of you. Nice job.
You know how many people would say that I'm not a man because I have a battery powered chainsaw?
Listen, I've run a corded chainsaw before, and I think that's lower down the line. You know what I mean? The one where you have to run the extension cord from the house.
Oh yeah, yes, yeah. That's
Still
little
a
lower
chainsaw.
down the line. It is still a chainsaw. Now, it's not one of those ones they use in like the world's strongest man competitions.
You don't feel as manly.
No.
You feel it's kind of like driving a Fiat.
Hey, I have a Fiat.
I know. Running a chainsaw with a cord is kind of like driving a Fiat. It gets you the job. It's going to get the job done. You're just going to get a lot of weird looks.
Well, that, and it's limited on the size of trunk it can go. I'm probably good with
them. Both of them limited in size of trunk.
Yes. I'm good with about an 8 to 10 inch trunk. After that, I'm going to have to get a gas powered big old chainsaw.
8 to 10 inch trunk?
Yeah. I could probably go through that.
I feel like I'm better with about a 24. Oh, never mind.
Oh, I see what you're doing there. Yeah. So, what else did I do? That was about it. That was the major accomplishment over the weekend. I went for a walk on Saturday. That was nice. Went about 3 or 4 miles.
Nice.
And then I was just sitting back waiting to watch you at Tasty Tacos. That's what I did. I was waiting to watch you at Tasty Tacos. And you had a great crowd. Dude. You had a great crowd at Tasty Tacos.
That was fun. It was a lot of fun. And then, I always wonder about like these soft opening, grand opening things, right? And you should watch. I mean, I should be smart enough at this point to remember that thing, Travis, of like, watch the experts. Just watch the experts. Watch what they do. Bruno does the same thing with Fong's that the Mosqueda family did with this Tasty Tacos. When they open it, they don't announce it to the world. They don't say, hey, the doors are open Tuesday. What they do is they bring some people in, they test it, they bring some more people in, they test it, then they open the doors without telling people and see who's what, So I'd been to Tasty Tacos 4 or 5 times already because it's been open. The new one that had the grand opening on Saturday. I'd been there 4 or 5 times already, and I found out that a lot of people were that way. They were kind of like, they walked up, they're like, grand opening, I've been here already. But that was really cool. They had the mariachi band going. Got to give away some tickets to Shane Gillis, signed up a lot of people, introduced a lot of people to the show, got to meet a lot of listeners that weren't aware of what we're doing here yet. So slowly growing, slowly.
Our buddy Mick Jeep Stud was there. Was he wearing his Rush sweatshirt?
He was. Yeah.
Look at Mick. He's one of the rare ones that actually has like Rush gear because he had it made himself. I commend him on that. I think he's getting a Rush flag made. You know how he'd always go on his Jeep excursions.
Yeah.
And so I think we're going to start
the Jeep was there. Flubber pulled up.
Flubber was there.
And almost, listen, the parking lot was full. And you know how Jeeps are. They have a way of wanting to make their own parking spots.
Is that the Jeep or is that the driver that says, I'm driving a Jeep, I'm going to make my own parking spot?
When you get into a Jeep, you what's the word I'm looking for? You become one with the vehicle.
I've only driven a Jeep once in my life, a Wrangler, right? I've only driven it.
You're going to drive
once.
one. That's the one.
Yeah. Because I look at it like a Cherokee to me is nothing more than an Explorer or a Chevy Blazer.
But wasn't it the first one? Wasn't the Chevy Cherokee with the wood paneling. Wasn't that the first SUV? Weren't all the others copying that?
Probably, but
or was there a different one that Jeep copied? It very well could be that Suburban was out before or something. I don't know.
Nobody has anything that looks like a Jeep, though. You know, the Ford Bronco is maybe trying, but when you see a Jeep Wrangler, when I say Jeep, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? I guarantee for 99% of the people, it's a Wrangler.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what comes to mind. No, dude. I hinted at it. The right answer is not before the Jeep even, because you know what the Jeep is, right? Jeep was not initially Jeep. It was GP. That got basically shortened to Jeep. The GP was the vehicle that they used in the military for general purposes. And that's why it was called the Jeep.
Really?
Yeah, that's where Jeep came from.
It wasn't actually a manufacturer. Like did like
not until later. So I googled what was the first SUV. It was the Suburban in 1935.
Wow, that's the first sport utility vehicle.
Yeah,
with Suburban. I've owned several Suburbans. Can't afford them now. Like you want a Suburban now, you're looking at $70,000-$80,000. And I've always bought used, so don't.
And
think
then
that
it says the first SUV in modern style, 1984 Jeep Cherokee.
There it is. Yeah, I'm not the Cherokee used to be, but now it's just kind of blends in with everything else.
I agree, and I have a Grand Cherokee, and I'll be honest, I've walked up to the wrong car many times.
Well, you've got a Grand Cherokee, and it's black, so one of the most common colors.
Yeah.
In a very familiar body style. Because if you go to the parking lot and you're looking for your Wrangler, you're like, yeah, there it is.
Right. I'm the guy parked on the rock.
Yeah. Do you
I didn't mean to. Me and the Jeep were synergized.
Do you like the four-door Wranglers?
I've come around on them. When I first saw them, I think that's one of those things of how we hate change. You know, I loved my Wrangler, my favorite vehicle I ever owned. And when those four-door Wranglers came out, I was one of those, it's not. This doesn't look like the old Wrangler. Now I see them, they look like a Jeep. I even like the ones, my cousin has one that's the four-door with the bed.
Oh, I don't like those. I haven't come around on those yet.
There's something about being able to carry some stuff like that. Just
That's
throwing
true.
the gear in the back or throwing whatever you've got and not having to finagle it into the car. I don't know. There's something I love about that.
By the way, if you would like to purchase a Jeep, you can always find one at Willis Automotive. I was on the Willis Automotive website, and they've got some good used ones. I was like, oh, look at that. Look at that one. That's in my price range, too.
The Willis Automotive used is people forget about that. You can get out there to get your car detailed. Weather's going to be getting nice. Be a wonderful time to do that. Shake off all this yuck.
Did you get your car detailed yet?
I didn't get it detailed because I ended up going out and getting my oil changed. And when they changed the oil, they didn't do the inside, but they washed the outside. And I keep the inside fairly clean, but I need to get it detailed. They've told me like it'll look brand new. It will look brand new. You'll be amazed at what these guys do to the car.
You'll have that new car smell, all sorts of things. Yeah,
maybe I should do that. Time for another oil change. I've been churning and burning, baby.
Well, that means you're making deals. That means you're out there selling houses. That means you're going from Knoxville to Norwalk to Waukee. You are wheeling and dealing, my bud.
To Ogden. Just closed the deal last week in a sale in Ogden.
Wow. Look at you.
That was my furthest north now, or northwest. I think I did a deal in Ames that might have been a little bit further north.
Did you sell that house in Knoxville yet? Because that's a beautiful home.
Beautiful home. Isn't that thing great?
It is awesome.
No, we've everybody that comes through it says the same thing. This house is beautiful. And the other thing is nobody goes through it and says, this house is really overpriced. So that's why we haven't dropped the price on it, waiting for a $600,000 Knoxville buyer. So if you know where unicorns are hiding, I'm hunting.
Did you do anything else this weekend? I know you. I mean, literally, I went on a walk. I went out to dinner, and I did some yard work. That was about the extent of my weekend. Besides tasty tacos, did you do anything else?
I had a fun-filled weekend, actually. Yeah, man. And then so had the tasty tacos remote on Saturday and had fun with that. And then yesterday we ended up having my aunt and uncle come to town from Wisconsin, so I did a big fish fry at my dad's house last night.
Cod? Walleye? What'd
Walleye.
You do? Really?
Walleye and a few perch. Every now and again, I would reach in and see a little perch fillet in there. But,
is this left over from your trip in Canada that was frozen?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So fed a whole bunch of people with that, but also did family photos. Got to hang out with Chris Meharry for a little while.
I saw the family photos. You posted one with your dad and the kids.
Yeah.
Eli, what is Eli like 6'4" now? 6'5"? The kid is huge.
He's a giant,
huge.
Man. Big kid. Yep.
Are you sure you're his dad?
I'm hoping.
Well, if he didn't look exactly like you, I would probably say, where'd he get that height from?
Mean Christian.
Says Ross, can he dim the forehead down, getting blinded a little bit?
I'm going to actually working on that. How about that, Christian? What do you think about that?
Have you ever? I'm gonna say something that's politically incorrect here.
Fire away. Today's the day.
Well,
today's the day.
I want to know how you would take it. Okay. So a couple months ago, I was asked to voice audition for a big event that was taking place.
Okay.
Because the guy who runs the audiovisual, I do a lot of work with him. And he's like, you would be perfect for this. Absolutely perfect for this. He goes, because we have it now. It's boring. It's they hired a DJ to do it, and it's very monotone. It didn't sound good. He goes, so if I send you the scripts, will you do it? Will you just do a read for me? So I did it, and I sent him off the audio file, and I never heard back from him. So I went to this ribbon cutting yesterday for a project that we'd finished up, and the audiovisual guy was there. He goes, hey, I'm sorry I never called you back. Now, have you ever done any voice auditions?
Absolutely.
And what I mean,
yeah.
And what we mean by voice auditions, you have advertisers or events that are seeking a voice, but they want a certain voice, right? I mean, they know it when they hear it. So you're not going to get them all the time. They're like, it just doesn't fit what we want. He goes, I'm sorry I didn't call you back. I go, it's no big deal. I go, it's just, you do those and you forget about them. He goes, well, I didn't want to give you the feedback. I go, feedback? I go, I thought I had a good energy. I kind of did what you wanted. He goes, oh, no, I wanted to pick you. I go, he goes, do you want to know what the feedback was? I go, sure. Your voice was not gay enough. I'm like, what? He goes, yes, they said your voice was not gay enough. And I'm like, of all the feedback I've ever gotten, I don't think I've ever gotten that.
What was the event?
It was a fashion show. Ross is like at a loss for words right now.
I'm going to bite my tongue. I got words.
I was like, wow, okay. I didn't know if I should take that as a compliment or a rip. I go, do you want me to recut it in a gayer
put the
voice?
affectation on it?
I go, I don't know what you want me to do. He goes, no, it's not you. It was just the organizers of the event said that you were almost too much energy. You liked. I go, I could put some flamboyance behind it if you want. I go, my voice is my voice. He goes, I get it. He goes, that's why I didn't call you back. I go, it's okay.
Yeah, I get it. Now I get it. Because that would have been weird feedback to give somebody.
Yeah. How do you make that phone call and say,
did I get the gig? Well, here's the deal.
And maybe he just wanted to have a conversation in person.
Yeah, Travis, that would have been... I want to play this out in my head. Well, Travis, here's the deal. You know how your voice is kind of gay? It's just not gay enough. That's how I wish he would have delivered that news. That's how I wish he would have delivered it. You know how you know how your voice is kind of gay?
But then I started thinking, is there a gay voice?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you sure? Yeah.
Well, okay. I kind of knew that.
Yeah.
But I started playing that in my head. I'm like, well, but if you went and told somebody they had a gay voice, how would they take that?
How would you take it when the guy said, "Hey, you know how your voice is kind of gay, but it's not gay enough"?
So that was the feedback that I got. Feedback.
Huh.
So I failed on an audition, which is fine.
I have submitted more of those than I could ever tell you. The Iowa Lottery is constantly kind of changing up their stuff, and they're always looking for new voices. And so I've done a few. I've been on a few Iowa Lottery commercials in my life, but I've probably auditioned or sent in tapes for 15 and been on 2 or something like that.
Yeah. Because they are looking for a certain sound. It's no different than when
whatever
we pick
it is
music out for the show. Like when I did the countdown, I probably went through, a lot of royalty-free music that was like, this just doesn't, it's not what I'm looking for, right? You know it when you hear it.
Some of you might be amazed at how specific they come with what the voice needs to sound like. Sometimes it's like female. Sometimes it's like 30-year-old female. Sometimes it says 30-year-old mother of 3, vaguely feline. Like, what the hell's that mean?
Vaguely feline?
How do we do that? How do you do that?
I don't know. I don't know.
So you call in one of the people that, and you figure it out.
Did you ever have a senior skip day when you were a senior in high school?
Funny you'd bring that up. Yes, I did have a senior skip day.
Because my daughter's senior skip day it's like organized by the school.
Yeah. Because Courtney's got the same thing. I think her daughters have it today, maybe even. And maybe that's why it got brought up over the weekend. But come on, I thought senior skip day was like, hey, we're all gonna not show up tomorrow. Shh.
Yeah. When it's organized and it's like an excused absence, it's not a skip day. It's a day off. That's the way I look at it. I'm like, what's the fun in that? What's the fun in not being able to organize, hey, we're not showing up today?
It's not a senior skip day if they're announcing it over the intercom.
It's a good way to look at it. A lot of people are saying their son's is today too. Is this
like citywide? That's the other thing. Not only is it coordinated by the school, all the schools do it together.
Is it written into the school calendar, senior skip day?
Right. I bet it is. Travis, with the way it's organized, I bet it is. Like, remember, it was like, it kind of felt like I don't know. It wasn't quite the same as being invited to parties, but it felt like you're part of the cool kid crowd, right?
Yeah.
Hey, you're not coming to school on Wednesday, right?
Because you would organize something. You'd be like, hey, we're gonna go to the Ledges and hang out and throw a party and bring a 12-pack of beer.
Yeah, the pits.
Yeah.
For us, it was the pits. It was the gravel pits down on the southeast side of town.
So I asked Greta, I go, what are you going to do on your senior skip day? I don't know. Just going to sleep in. We might go out to the lake house. I'm like, okay.
You're not going to go steal your friend's dad's Ferrari and sing in a parade? Come on.
And go to a Cubs game?
What are you doing with your life? A kiss for daddy?
It does take the fun out of it, though, when it's like an organized, calculated thing. It's like, okay, seniors aren't here today. Where are they at? Well, it's their skip day. See, the best thing would be, let's skip today because it's organized and skip tomorrow because we're not supposed to.
Right.
Yeah, got to have the unorganized one.
The real rebels do that. Like Dusty says, my son has a senior skip day weekly. That's a rebel. Yeah. Thumbing it to the man.
Reality is starting to set in for me because my daughter, a month from today, is her last day of school. A month from today, she is officially done with high school. So that's I'm getting closer and closer to being an empty nester. Getting a little freaked out a little bit.
Feels a lot different than Mary. Or feels a lot different than Abigail, I should say.
Abigail, Owen, or Mary, just because that's the last one, right? I mean, it's like, okay, done this 4 times. Going to be over in a month. Happy about it, but yet it's still kind of weird.
Do I need to get my Nebraska real estate license so we can get the house on the market?
No, because I've got a 15-year mortgage at 2.75%. Trav ain't going anywhere for a long time. Long time.
Good for you, brother.
I've got about 9 years left on it, so I'm like, we're not going anywhere. Good. We're not going anywhere. I don't want to go anywhere. I've got this wonderful. Well, as soon as my studio gets done, and Owen informed me he's taking PTO next week to come in and work on the studio, so I can maybe get back down to where I belong. Where I belong. 515-517-2303. Let's go to I can't. This is
fire away.
This is
Bring
weird.
them on.
It says Coach Potato, but I have a feeling it's Coach Hersom on job feedback. Coach, what's going on?
I literally said couch potato just based on the last time. So see if I could get closer. But so I got to say couch to get coach. There you go. Hey, okay, I got a job feedback story, but a quick setup. My first year, or my first job out of college, I'm teaching at Storm Lake St. Mary's. 2 aspects of that are important. One, I'm the girls basketball coach, and it was the first year in the state of Iowa that they switched from 6-on-6 to 5-on-5. I'll come back to that. The other interesting fact on that is there was this young man in my freshman class and my sophomore class named Ben McCollum. And I think we all know who Ben McCollum is right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Couple years there, 4 years at Eagle Grove, I decided to try to sniff into the college coaching game. And obviously we know it's not what you know, it's who you know. Well, I had taken my girls basketball team at Storm Lake St. Mary's down to Creighton's basketball coach. And Connie Yorey gets hired at Nebraska. So I call Connie, and I'm like, hey, and she remembers, who I am because I had my team down there and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'd love to join your staff. And she's like, Coach, I would love for you to join my staff, but what I need in my next assistant or my last assistant is a black female. And I'm like, Coach, I understand that. There's a lot of things I can be, but I cannot be a black female.
Yeah. I can only do
Just
so many
do
things. That's one of those are 2 things that are outside of what I'm able to do.
You could become female, you just couldn't become a black female.
Well, I don't know. Robert Downey Jr. did it.
Well, good point. And he didn't break character until the DVD
I'm just
commentary
a dude
over.
playing a girl who thinks she's a coach.
Good stuff, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey, was Ben McCollum as competitive in high school as he kind of makes himself out to be?
No, I'm not going to say. He was a freshman and a sophomore. He was kind of a squirrely little kid, but I will tell you this: he was a gym rat.
That's not a surprise.
As a coach, and obviously I was coaching the girls, but that kid spent a lot of time on his game when he was there. So the short answer to your question is yes, he absolutely was.
Excellent. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it, man. 515-517-2303. We come back. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm glad this is weird for me to imagine that Coach Hersom knows Ben McCollum as a 13-year-old.
Yes.
That's cool. That's cool. Because I'll always see Ben McCollum now as a grown man, 40 years old, whatever he is right now. That's what he seems like to me.
And the head coach of the Hawkeyes.
He was born that way, right? He was born that way?
Yeah, that's the way
he was a 13-year-old squirrely little kid. Can relate.
It is the Rush Radio Show at therushradio.com.
Hi, I'm Josh Romick, manager at Willis Lexus. I want to take a moment to share with you the great deals that we've got going on starting now through the end of April. We are offering $100 off a full brake service or $50 off a 2-wheel brake service. In addition to that, for limited time only, receive up to an $80 prepaid Visa or MasterCard. You can give us a call to schedule or visit us online at willislexus.com.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's $25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's $25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's $25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
If you have a pest problem with over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's local expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly pest solutions at a fair price for your home or business. Call us today at 515-218-3400.
Believe it or not, spring is coming. When it does, be absolutely organized with custom garage or closet systems from Absolute Garage and Closets. Turn a winter mess into a spring success at our showroom in Urbandale or visit absolutegarage.net.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Are you thinking about buying a home this year? Start by getting pre-approved with Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines to see how much you can qualify for and what loan programs meet your needs. Gary can get you pre-approved in 30 minutes or less with a pre-approval letter to you. Gary offers first-time homebuyers programs, VA loans along with FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Spring cleaning continues. Come down to Land Rover Des Moines to get your front and rear differential fluid services done for $199.95 each. Preventative maintenance is important to ensure your vehicle runs smoothly down the road. To schedule, give us a call or head online at LandRoverDesMoines.com.
The best bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
You can listen to the Rush Radio Show all day long by going to therushradio.com. Just click that Listen Live link if you want to pick up the show wherever it's at. We kind of loop this thing all day long. If you want the podcast version of the show, you can just download it from wherever you get your podcasts. Coming up in about a half an hour at 7 o'clock, we teased this a long time ago, but we do have Indiana Fever Brazilian National League or national team tickets to give away when they play at Carver Hawkeye Arena. Of course, you're not going to see the Indiana Fever. You're going to see Caitlin Clark. That's who you're going to go see. But at 7 o'clock, we're going to tell you the first step in winning those tickets. So it's kind of a deep tease. We could have done it right at 6 o'clock. But the deep tease. We'll keep everybody around till 7 o'clock and give you your marching orders. And there will be, it's kind of a multi-step process, but we think it's going to be fun. So we'll spend a good portion of April giving the tickets away. And of course, I think the game is at Carver Hawkeye on like May 5th or something like that. Which will be, which is probably one of the most sought after tickets maybe in state of Iowa history.
Fair to say.
Yeah.
When we look at the price point on the secondary market, that's fair to say. We are hoping the person that we give these tickets to are going to use them. They're digital tickets.
They're digital tickets. So you won't be able to get the tickets right in your hand. We'll email them to you. Now, I don't want to put any ideas out there, but I will say this. If you win the tickets, use the damn tickets. Don't turn it into a money-making thing. We can't tell you what to do with the tickets, but use them. Go.
Did you check your email?
I did. I did. I didn't click on it.
Okay. Well, then as long as you checked it, that's all I really wanted you to do is just make sure that my email was working.
Yes.
And that when I go to send you stuff, maybe someday you'll actually get it and read it. So good. That's all I was checking. I just wanted to make sure that it worked.
So what is this? I'm looking at it right now.
This is a story you're going to love, all right?
Okay.
First of all, there were 2 stories I found this morning that I thought that you were going to love. First one was sent to me yesterday by my buddy that at PNC Park in Pittsburgh, down the right field line, they have a 21-foot wall down the right field line. It's 21 feet for a very specific reason. 21 was Roberto Clemente's number.
Okay.
And so just to the right of the foul pole at PNC Park in Pittsburgh, they had Clemente and a 21 underneath it.
I saw his family was pissed about something.
Yeah, they were pissed because when they showed up this year, his family isn't the one. Fans showed up at the park this year and were like, hey, why is there a giant beer can over the Clemente? They sold it as ad space and put a beer can in that space, in that little rectangular space on the foul side of the foul pole on the 21-foot pad. They put a beer can where the 21 Clemente used to be. They got such blowback that they removed it, took the beer can off, and put the 21 back up there. It's a reminder that all of us are going to fade away to ashes, and there will be nothing left of any of us when Roberto Clemente, some guy on the ad revenue team, is like, "Hey, can we get rid of that Clement thing?" What's Clemente? Was that the tomato beer that they tried to do? Was that what that was called?
And it shows you that people don't think things through, meaning they saw dollar signs, right? They're like,
yes.
You're willing to pay what for what? Oh, I guess
Travis, I mean, I don't think that it was the beer company that came in and said, "Hey, we'd really like to take that Clement." I think that the marketing team said, "Oh, that's space that we could sell."
Yes. 100%. And talk to an advertising salesman. They'll sell anything.
Yeah, and people won't really notice if we just take Roberto Clemente off we have a statue of the guy. Why do we need to have this thing on the wall?
So they've already taken the beer. Was it a beer sign?
Yeah, and it wasn't. I can't remember. It wasn't beer. It was like, one of those. Cocktail drinks.
Okay,
that was up there. The other one that I found that I thought you'd find really funny.
And that's the one you emailed to me, right?
This is this one comes to us from across the ocean over there. Our friends in England.
Across the ocean over there.
Across the ocean. Across the pond, they say. I don't know where this was because I've never heard of these towns. But this stadium is full of people to watch a soccer match that was a Sales Champions Cup game, okay? Stadium's packed. They're doing one of those ceremonial deals where they're going to fly in the ball.
Like with a paratrooper?
They got a military dude who's going to parachute in with the ball.
Okay.
This stadium has one of those really cool little overhangs, and it's got a little oval he's got to fit into. Yeah, he missed the oval, and the parachute hits the roof of the stadium. The parachutist bringing the game ball in gets hung up. He's literally hanging from the roof of the stadium. There's a 40-minute delay. They have to bring out like a boom lift.
Help! Help!
Oh, he wasn't. Help. No, you got to see the photos of it, dude. He looks as calm and cool. It's hilarious. He's just sitting there swinging.
Not worried that the ropes are going to break or anything like that?
I think he's a military man. He's not panicked.
Well, we've practiced this.
The people underneath him, they panicked. They scatter. There's an empty circle now. Looks like somebody dropped Dawn dish soap into the greasy pan.
Can you imagine oh wow, watching this guy come in this is cool. He's
coming in hot. He's coming in hot.
He needs to create some room.
Is he gonna turn? Man, it looks like he's going to hit the roof. Isn't it amazing how close he's going to get? Look how good this guy. Oh, he hit the roof.
Probably got lucky, though, right? That he got tangled up? Because you could hit the roof, bounce off, and...
This was rugby, by the way. That's why we've never heard of these teams. This is the European Professional Club Rugby. The photos of it are hilarious. The article is on the BBC. Sail game delayed as parachutist hangs from roof. If this had happened a week earlier, I would have thought this was an April Fool's Day joke.
See, this couldn't happen at like Kinnick or Jack Trice, right? Because
no,
it's pretty open air. There's not much
the equivalent
overhang.
would be like getting hung up on a light.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? That'd be scary. I think it'd be scary.
You think? Jumping out of a plane is scary to me. Really scary to me.
Everybody that's done it has loved it. Well, not everybody.
Except the people that died as they went plummeting, as they hit max velocity. You going to pull that chute? Going to pull that chute? I've told this before. I was supposed to jump out of the planes with the Golden Knights of the Army at the Offutt Air. Yeah, but I was too fat at the time. Way too fat at the time. They're like, Mr. Justice, you can't jump with us. Why that? Well, you exceeded the weight limit. The weight limit. We mentioned we're going to be telling you how to win those Caitlin Clark tickets. We'll do that at 7 o'clock. Ross, yesterday, UConn won the Women's National Championship, blew out South Carolina by a score of 82-59. Paige Beckers ends her college career with a national title. She had 17 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. I guess my question is, we get through this, and we still have to ask ourselves, because women's basketball has made huge strides in popularity, in viewership. Now, the Final Four game, the first set of Final Four games didn't exceed last year's, but again, that's an anomaly, right? But you still had 4 million people watch the Final Four. Is there enough parity in women's college basketball yet? The Final Four games were decided by an average of 25 points. They were all blowouts.
Yeah.
If you go back the last 15 years, if you go back to 2010 up and through 2025, only 5 national championship games have been decided by 9 points or less.
All right, so what's your question?
As much as the game is gaining in popularity, can it grow if there's not more parity in the game moving forward? Meaning the men's game, even though there's just more parity. I know we have 2 number 1 seeds, and yes, you're going to have blowouts, but you have a lot more to work from. I guess my question is, it can't always just be South Carolina, UConn, LSU.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Travis, there's no doubt that we were all more invested last year or the last couple of years because Iowa and Iowa.
Yes.
Had Caitlin Clark gone to UConn to play basketball, I don't know. I wonder what the impact would have been. I don't think it wouldn't have been as big here in Des Moines. I mean, she wouldn't be. I don't think. I don't know. I don't even want to say that because very possible it would have been. But I feel like part of what made it special was that anomaly, that she was doing it at Iowa. It
was timing. I mean, it was lightning in a bottle.
Yes, it was different. And I think you're right, Travis. Yes, women's college basketball does need that. It needs more teams to have a chance. Yes, is the answer. Parity helps. Parity, having a lot of teams that have a chance. It gives you hope. Hope is what sells. Hope's what keeps people around. It's the magic 4-letter word in sports. It's hope. And in women's college basketball, if you're not one of about 4 or 5 teams, you have no hope of actually getting to the mountaintop. You can want that to be your, little engine that could type of motivation.
I'm with you. I mean, but for how long has it been UConn, Tennessee, Notre Dame, South Carolina? That's it, right? And that's why, Gino Auriemma, after the Final Four game, which they won quite easily, went off again on the super regional. And I know Bill Fenley was on with us last week, and he kind of laid it out why it didn't make a lot of sense from a travel standpoint. But there's a reason they did that. It's because those regionals, when they were 4, weren't selling out. They weren't getting huge crowds. Now, that was pre-Caitlin Clark. But they looked at it and said, okay, how do we get more people there? How do we give people more value? That would be more games. And to me, it's easy when you are the big dog to complain about it because you're going to win a national title, or at least you're going to be in the Final Four.
Yeah, right. Going to be one of those teams.
Yes, you're going to be one of those teams.
They won the national championship by 23 points, walked away.
By beating the defending national champions by 23 points. I mean, did you watch any of the women's Final Four or national championship game?
No.
I'm with you. I was out cutting down a cherry tree.
Old George Washington. All wood teeth himself over here.
And I actually thought the game was on later than what it was. Meaning, I thought, well, it's a national championship game. They're going to play it tonight. They're going to play late afternoon. Come back in, fire up the old Google machine, and boom, the game's over already? And I was out doing work at 11 o'clock in the morning and come back in and it was over. I watched more of the Crown Championship game yesterday than I did the women's Final Four. Nebraska played Central Florida for the Crown National, or I almost said National Championship, the Crown Championship. Sure.
It's a nationwide tournament.
It is. But I watched more of that than I did the women's Final Four. Nebraska won that, Ross, and with the win got $300,000. My question is, what happens to that money?
Per player?
No, the team itself got, so when you win the Crown,
okay,
you get $300,000. That's why a lot of these bigger teams said no to the NIT, because there was a prize at the end of it. If you won this thing, you get a $300,000 check.
Which is not nothing.
It depends on what you do with it. Like Nebraska's, let's use Iowa for an example. Let's say Iowa would have played in the Crown. Remember, they chose not to play in the postseason. They probably could have played in the Crown. What would $300,000 done for the NIL? I mean, they had a hard enough time raising money for the NIL anyway. If you were able to say, hey, we're going to take this $300,000 and we're going to put it into the Iowa basketball NIL. Nebraska kind of has the same thing, doesn't have a huge NIL for basketball because football is the main thing. Or do you say, okay, we're going to give some to the NIL, but we're going to pay all you guys who helped win this.
Here's a reward for this. I think that's the right way to do it.
Yeah.
Casey said they're going to divide it, or maybe he just said divide it amongst players. I'm not sure if that's his idea or if he's heard that. Tyler said he assumed the $300,000 divided amongst the 15 players, about $20,000 apiece.
Boy, if you're a walk-on who never plays, you'd be like, gee, thanks for the $20,000. Pretty good deal.
Yeah,
got to spend a week in Vegas and I get to walk away. How many people at age 20, 21, 22 go to Vegas, spend a week, and walk away with $20,000? Not many.
When the game went around, how many of those guys were like, hey, when we get that money?
Though
Coach, you know I'm good for this.
Yeah, I'm gonna borrow. I know we may or may not win, but I'm gonna borrow against this. I'm gonna try to borrow. Can I have a line of credit? You imagine going to the window. I need a line of credit. Have you gambled here before? No, but I'm playing in this little tournament that I may have $20,000. We got to win the thing.
Call your boss, pit boss.
But you know what? I like this model, and what I mean by that, look at the money the NCAA tournament generates. Should players get paid out of a pool like that? I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Neither would I.
World Series players get paid. Super Bowl players get paid.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Yeah, reward them for that. I love that. I love it.
And that will keep the only problem was nobody was at the game. No, I mean, it was an empty arena because it's not the NCAA basketball tournament.
Well, it's $300,000, not $30 million.
No, that's true.
Tyler has a great point. They should pay the parents that were in the stands because they were the only ones there.
Hell, if they spent a whole week there, they might be underwater at $20,000.
That's right. Yeah, trust me, I know.
Where you guys staying? Well, we're out in Henderson at a Motel 8. You're not on the Strip? No.
Started there. Yep, started at the Bellagio, ironically. Moved to, let's see, how would you go? From Bellagio, you would go to, we ended up at the Flamingo for a while.
Is the Flamingo still around?
No, they tore it down a couple years ago.
No, we're on Fremont Street.
We're at the Imperial Palace. Rat showed up at the door with a sign that said we should leave.
Circus still around?
Yeah, Tyler said Circus.
That's still around. It's been forever since I've been to Vegas, so I don't even know what's in Vegas anymore. The only thing I guess I was in the airport, but that doesn't really count because I was just doing an exchange. I mean, the only thing I know about Vegas anymore is the Sphere. That's the only thing I want to see.
Which I haven't been to yet. I mean, you see it. You can't. You see it everywhere you're at, but
it's hard to describe. Except that it's just really, really cool.
I think that word's a pretty good word for it.
Well, I know, but because you see the pictures, you're like, it can't be that clear, right? I remember flying over and going, "Oh my god,
it's that big."
I'd want to see a concert in there. I'd be down for seeing a concert in there. Are you ready for college basketball to be over? Of course, it ends tonight. You reach the point where
dude, the day Iowa lost college basketball,
you were out.
I shouldn't say that because I'm following Drake and Iowa State. Really, it was that Saturday. That's when college basketball ended for me. I shouldn't say that because I did like watching that game. The Houston game, that was a amazing basketball game. Anytime, I mean, I'm kind of still in that mode of like, I find myself rooting against Duke just because it's Duke. So maybe I'm too quick to say the college basketball season was over. My real care, interest, love died that day. And kind of went into baseball mode, I think. Baseball.
Wow.
Where's baseball mode been? I haven't found that mode in a while. Yeah, I think so because I'm not going out. I mean, tonight I'll watch the game.
God, it didn't start till like 8 o'clock Central.
I'll lay in bed watching the game. I'll fall asleep.
Wake up going, who won? Who won?
It'll be 2:30 in the morning. I'll be trying to figure it out.
But the Duke collapse the other night, you mentioned it, was monumental. I mean, they were up, 14 with 9 minutes to go, up 9 with 3 minutes to go, and Houston goes on a 9-0 run in the last 35 seconds of the game.
Travis, have you seen the win probability thing?
Yeah, they had like the chart. I mean, at one point Duke was like 90%.
I'm going to see if I can find this real quick. It's insane how that thing swung. My buddy Ryan Grove sent it to me on a text. So with 8:17 to play, Duke was a 98% probability to win. With 3 minutes to play, Duke had a 95% probability to win. With 2 minutes to play, Duke had a 94.6 win probability. With 33 seconds to play, Duke had an 84% win probability. And with 3 seconds to play, Houston had a 94% win probability.
Wow.
You said this, so I saw this. I think Hassel sent out a tweet, and it kind of similar verbiage. I want to kind of talk about a conversation that I saw online. He said, "Man, Duke collapse, right?" And people right away are like, no, that's Houston. Houston comes back, and they were in, they came back and won that game. That's one of those situations where I think it's both are true. If you've got to put blame, or if you've got to say, you have to either say that was a Duke collapse or a Houston win. I say Houston win. I mean, getting the steals, hitting the shots, but again, I think it is a 51-49.
Yeah.
They're both true.
Both can be true in this scenario, right? And that is, Houston has this mentality: it ain't over till it's over,
right?
But when you have a 9-point lead with 3 minutes to go, and you have with a minute to go and 90% win probability, that's a collapse.
It's incredible.
You can't get an inbounds pass. You let a team go in 35 seconds on a 9-0 run. There's a collapse there, but it's also a Houston win. This is one of those scenarios where both can be true. And it sets up a showdown with Florida tonight, which we'll talk a little bit more about in hour number 2. Also coming up in hour number 2, we will be telling you how you can win those Caitlin Clark tickets. And we're going to make it very easy for you. It's just a simple step process. We want to make it easy. Now, it's a 2-step process. And we'll go a lot more into that. Also, I guess AJ Ferrari is going to announce something today.
Yeah, he's going to. And I only know this because my son keeps me up to date on the college wrestling news, and he loves the Ferrari brothers. So AJ Ferrari sent out a thing yesterday. He's down to like his top 10 schools. Iowa was in there. Penn State. I think Iowa State might have even been in that top 10, but North Carolina. And I see Dusty saying that seems like the most smoke. Most rumors are that he's going to head to North Carolina. Super talented wrestler, but the real like bad boy of college wrestling right now. He's the dude that did the splits and double birds to everybody a couple years ago. His brother is a wrestler at Iowa and redshirted this year, but took his red shirt off and had a really big win.
Yeah.
So interesting. We'll see what happens. That's college wrestling news for you.
517-2303. Caitlin Clark tickets. We'll tell you how we're going to give them away when we come back on the Rush Radio Show at therushradio.com, powered by Willis Automotive.
Spring is here, and so are spring pests. Whether it's birds in your dryer vent, raccoons in your chimney, squirrels in your soffit, ants in your kitchen, or bats in your attic, with over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions can help. Call us today at 515-218-3400 to schedule your inspection and see how bats and bugs can help prevent your home from becoming their home.
You've dreamed about an absolutely organized garage or closet? See it for yourself at Absolute Garage & Closet's beautiful showroom in Urbandale. See the latest in garage storage, custom closet systems, and epoxy flooring applications up close, and imagine how good it will feel to have your garage, closets, or other spaces absolutely organized. Free consultations, friendly service, and quick project turnarounds, Absolute Garage & Closets is ready to bring peace of mind into your home. Visit Absolute Garage & Closets at 3169 99th Street in Urbandale or at absolutegarage.net.
Missing a quality, home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
Thinking about buying a home? Get pre-approved in 30 minutes with Gary Presnell at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA, FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know. High-quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah. Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Hi, I'm Josh Romick, manager at Willis Lexus. I want to take a moment to share with you the great deals that we've got going on starting now through the end of April. Receive $150 off a set of 4 tires or $75 off a set of 2 eligible tires. In addition to that, for limited time only, receive up to an $80 prepaid Visa or MasterCard. You can give us a call to schedule or visit us online at willislexus.com.
If you have a pest problem with over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's local expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly pest solutions at a fair price for your home or business. Call us today at 515-218-3400.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
The best bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
Looking for the perfect golf escape? Experience links-style golf right here in Ames at Coldwater Golf Links. With rolling fairways, large greens, and unique routing, it's golf the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you'll love our course's welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. Grab your clubs, book a tee time, and make every round unforgettable. Coldwater Golf Links, where great golf leads to great memories. Visit coldwatergolf.com to book your round today.
The Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive at therushradio.com. Happy Monday, everybody. If you are listening on the Android app or at therushradio.com, good to have you here. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and also leave your comments. You can follow us on Twitter at Rush Mornings, like our Facebook page, and, of course, follow us on Instagram. I'm Travis Justice. He is Ross Peterson. What?
I just got my photos from Chris Meharry. Oh my gosh, I'm a lucky guy.
He just took those yesterday.
Yeah.
Does he not sleep? You know most photographers, when you do this, will like, okay, we'll have your deliverables in like 2 weeks. Like when he shot Abigail's wedding, we have like all the wedding photos in like 3 days. It was like, damn.
Yeah, it's amazing. Wow. Fantastic. So yeah, that made my heart happy there.
Now, will you go get those printed? Will you print them and hang them up anywhere?
Yeah, I got a couple of them. I mean, there's a reason that we did these, because my dad has like this collage of family photos at the house that my mom used to have, and we just keep updating it. And my family was the one that, we were a couple years old, so needed an update on that. And
Well, you have a really good-looking family, Ross.
Lucky man.
Yes, you are. Very, very, very lucky. About a month and a half ago, we mentioned that we were lucky enough to come up with a pair of Indiana Fever Brazilian national team tickets at Carver Hawkeye Arena. Of course, those are really Caitlin Clark tickets. And we said we were going to be giving them away. And for the last month, people are like, are you really going to give these tickets away? And we're like, yes. Yes, we're going to give them away. We're not hoarding
Travis
them.
and I were just going to go. You guys were going to get live video from Trav and I at Carver Hawkeye Arena.
We took the tickets. But there was a lot of meetings on how to do it. Like we didn't want to do collar 7, right? I mean, collar 7 it's just a bad way to do it. And we're thinking, okay, how do we make this to where people could have pretty much an equal chance to do it, and then also make it a little fun? So this is what we've come up with. There's a 2-step process. From today through like April 18th, you need to go to therushradio.com. That's therushradio.com. When you get there, there is a promotions tab at the top of the website. So go to therushradio.com, hit the promotions tab. Then you'll scroll down a little bit, and you'll see a template where we need your name, your email, and your telephone number. Very simple. Very simple. It's free to enter. It doesn't cost any money whatsoever. So your first step in the process is therushradio.com.
Is to enter to win.
Yes, enter to win.
Therushradio.com. Super easy. Promotions tab. I just did it to make sure everything was working right. Exactly that way. You scroll down a little bit. Big black box says, The Rush wants to send one lucky listener to Iowa City to watch the Fever play the Brazilian national team on May 4th. Enter below for your chance to win. No cost to enter. 5 finalists will be drawn on April 18th for a chance to win the tickets. I love it.
So you're probably thinking, well, hold on for a second. You only have one pair of tickets. You only have one pair. You're right. We have 2 tickets. They're really good seats. What do you mean you draw on 5 names? Well, this is where it gets interesting. And you can come back every day and put your name in there. That's fine, but we're probably going to throw all the repeats out. Like your one chance is your one chance. Just because you have your name in there 8 million times, we're going to filter that and have the same amount, so it's 1 entry per person. We can't keep you from going back and putting your name in every day, but you can if you want. So then we have 5 people that we have drawn, right?
We're going to put those 5 people in a phone booth with a squirrel, and the one that comes out with the squirrel is going to get tickets to see Caitlin Clark. It's going to be fantastic.
That's not what we're doing.
That's not what we decided?
That's not what we're doing.
You know, you guys kick me out of the meetings, and then you change all of my plans and my ideas. Fine. What do you want to do then?
Tyler says, are you guys going to spam our emails? Probably.
Probably.
No, we're not going to send you stuff. But if stuff's coming up, we may let you know. So you have to go to therushradio.com, fill out the form, and then on April 18th, we draw 5 names. Then on April 26th, this is where you have to plan ahead. The morning of the 26th, we are going to gather at yet undetermined place because you were supposed to reach out.
Yeah, I was going to say no, I did. I've reached out. Yeah, but we haven't locked that down yet.
Okay.
But we will have at undetermined location with basketball hoop.
You have to shoot like Caitlin Clark, meaning you have to shoot from like
a logo 3?
A logo 3.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Get a logo 3.
You better have a camera on the line because if a toe is over that line, I'm calling shenanigans.
Now, you're probably wondering, what if the first person who steps up and makes the shot? Well, everybody will get a shot. So if the first person makes it, the second person makes it, well, then we go into like a sudden death and 3 others are out if they miss. If all 5 miss, then we go to shoot until you make it. It's that simple.
I mean, yeah, I figured that everybody gets the same amount of opportunities, right? It's like if the first person, if the first person of the 5 makes their second shot, everybody gets a second shot.
Is that what we want to do? Sure.
I think that's the most fair way.
So this promotion could take 5 minutes, or it could take 5 hours.
Yeah, right. Hitting the logo 3, you could give me most of the day. I'm probably not. I mean, I think I can get close, and maybe that's the thing is just keep chucking them and getting it and keeping it close. But
that's why I don't think we make it a half court. You know, originally we were thinking half court shot, but then we're like, okay, we'll try to like measure from where she hit her shot to break the NCAA record, which is like 24 feet. And that's doable. Doable.
I love Dusty says, "Hey, are you guys going to give away UFC tickets if this is how we're doing things?" All right, guys, we can do a spinning back fist like Jeremy Stevens. Here we go.
We're going to put you in the octagon. Now, trust me, and Corey from Bats and Bugs actually volunteered to find a squirrel. We thought about the squirrel in the phone booth bit. We did. That actually crossed our mind.
They kick me out of these meetings, and it's always me. I'm like Randy Marsh in South Park. I thought this was America. I thought we could wrestle a squirrel.
515-517-2303. Derek in New Sharon. Are you going to register to win the Caitlin Clark tickets, Derek?
Oh, is a duck's ass watertight? Hell yeah, I can hit a logo. I guarantee you, I need 3 shots. I get 2 out of 3 right now cold. I ain't shot basketball in 10 years.
I want to see that. I want to see Derek with a heater in his mouth pull up and just hit jumpers.
Like John Daly.
Yeah, he got the heater and he's just going to follow through and everything.
I might even wear the John Daly pants. I got a lot of stuff. I ain't called in last week. I got all kinds of things. You guys hired John Wooden II over there at Iowa. Those idiots on KXNO already anointed him top 20 coach and whatever. 1 division 1 year. Prove yourself first, then I'll tell you if you're good or not.
But listen, Derek, getting excited about your coach is a good thing, and having a guy that's had that success, it seems to be that fit of like a coming home dream job. You know what I mean? And that the Hawkeyes have had a lot of stability in their athletic department, especially in those big sports for the last several decades. Having that now in basketball would be a really great thing, especially a young coach who seems to be in this new world. He's got to get some success and land some more players, though.
I agree. Hey, I got to kind of roll here, but I'm just going to go. Freddie Hoiberg won an NCAA title yesterday, and Jefferson might be leaving for the Clones. I'm so sick of that. Whoever come up with that rule, you get one transfer to make your money, and that is it. He needs to come down to Blue Yummy Garage. I'll straighten the young man out. And the other thing, remember that diabetes commercial you talked about getting infected perineum? I had to giggle the other day when I seen this Sky Rizzy commercial with the girl in the one-piece blue bathing suit and her butt cheeks are flapping out the side, and she's running like Phoebe on Friends down to the ocean. Oh, that kind of makes me giggle.
A perineum infection?
What? That went a lot of places.
It did.
That felt like a Reverend Ray call there at the end.
Well, you know what? You brought that up on the previous location about the fat girl singing about diabetes, dancing, and one of the side effects is a drug. You could get an infected perineum, remember?
Sure.
Ross has a squirrel in the headlight look right now. He's like,
Oh.
Right.
Well, it was a big talk. Bob even called in about that. I remember that. My old buddy Bob.
I'm drawing a blank on the infected perineum.
Though, if you do listen to a lot of the side effects of those drugs. What's that, Derek?
Have you seen the Sky Rizzy commercial?
I'm sure I have. I just don't know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, you went a lot of places. Sky Rizzy,
well, next time you see a Sky Rizzy commercial,
her butt cheeks bouncing like Phoebe and Friends. What?
No, she's running like Phoebe and Friends. She's so uncoordinated, but her ass cheeks are hanging out her bathing suit.
Okay. The jokes came at me too fast there. I couldn't find. I was all right. All right, Derek. Have a good day.
But I kind of had to roll because I'm late. I'm late. I got to get back in. See ya.
All right, see ya. Our buddy Jeff Klein from Choice Creative just said, "Holy crap, my email box is blowing up." and I had to remind him that people do listen to this show. So so go to therushradio.com, go to the promotions tab, fill out that chart or the form, and you are entered to win the Caitlin Clark Indiana Fever tickets to the Indiana Fever Brazilian national team game at Carver Hawkeye Arena on May 5th, I believe it is. We're giving them away. Now, are we asking too much to take a shot? I don't think we're asking that much to take
I don't think
shot.
so. No. This is fun.
Yeah.
We want to have fun. We want to be goofy.
We're not expecting you to be Caitlin Clark. We're not expecting you to be Steph Curry. That's what makes it kind of fun. Now, what you can do, you have the luxury of knowing what is going to happen, so you can start practicing now. Whether you have a hoop in your driveway, or you go to the Y, or your high school gym, you just go up. You may have kids in high school. Go, hey, Coach, can I use the gym? What for? Just in case I get drawn to shoot for Caitlin Clark. You can actually practice this. There's no reason.
That's something we could have done is like, best send us a trick shot, but make it the worst possible edit cut ever.
Yeah.
We're going to do that for a contest sometime. We're going to have people make their own videos and send them in to us.
I mean, if you want to send us your videos of you practicing, we'll retweet those. Say, hey, I'm gearing up. You got to earn these. And I think a 23, 24-foot shot is a great way to earn it. But you got to start by going to therushradio.com and click on the promotions tab, and then fill out the form, and you're registered to win, or at least be selected for the 5 shooters. So we'll be talking about that daily through the 18th, and we want to send you to Iowa City to see Caitlin Clark in the Indiana Fever. Ross National Championship game tonight, Houston against Florida. This is one of those games. It's kind of weird, right? It's like, are you rooting for any team, or are you just going to sit back and watch?
Well, I found myself rooting for Houston, and again, I pegged that earlier more to being anti-Duke. But man, Kelvin Sampson, I don't mind rooting for him. I don't know why. I don't mind rooting for him. So I think I will be rooting for Houston tonight.
Is it more of the Big 12 association?
No, it has nothing to do with that. Because I don't think of Houston as a Big 12 team, and I'm not. It's not a knock on anybody or anything. I still call it Sec Taylor Stadium. Okay, it's hard for me. I don't, and I even see things where it's like, oh yeah, look at how great this is. Proof of how great the Big 12 is and was. Good job, Kelvin Sampson in Houston. That's where the credit lies. The conference has had zero to do with him getting those players. Now, their success as far as sharpening the steel and having a great conference, man, when they built this conference, I think most people looked around and said, this is going to be a basketball powerhouse. It's a machine of a basketball conference. Kansas came in with one of the best teams in the country at the beginning of the year, and were a no-show at times. That's how good this conference was. And so it's not a knock on the conference when I say I don't see it as, yes, the conference helped them become a better basketball team, and maybe that's where I think the credit goes to the conference. But it's not like I don't see this as a feather in the cap for the Big 12.
I still look at it as, I'm not going to call it, they're a number 1 seed, so Houston's not a Cinderella. But it's still one of those programs that probably isn't considered, it's not a blue blood by any means. It's not in there with Carolina, UCLA, Duke. Hell, Florida has multiple national titles, with what they got with Donovan. So I think I like rooting for a team that hasn't been there before, hasn't won a national title. When I was growing up, it was Phi Slamma Jamma. You had Clyde Drexler, Hakeem Olajuwon. I watched the North Carolina State win when Jimmy Valvano runs off the court, and that was fun to watch. So I find myself rooting for Houston, and probably, this Todd Golden story still isn't going away, right? And that is, he was cleared by Florida from Title IX violations. But even as soon as yesterday, they were running stories about the allegations against Todd Golden, stalking, maybe a little sexual harassment. And so you kind of look at him and you go, man, is he going to survive this? Because even though he cleared the Title IX violations at Florida, these lawsuits aren't going away. You still have people who are going to pursue action against Todd Golden.
Man, this is where the rubber hits the road on that innocent until proven guilty thing. Because it's real easy to hear these allegations and be like, well, that's you now.
If that was 5 years ago, he wouldn't have survived this.
I think that, Chris Beard, right? You hear that name, and if you remember that story, you go, oh. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, hell of a coach. Yeah. This is the type of stuff, man. It's you got to be careful because it is an innocent until proven guilty.
It is.
There are times when people make allegations that turn out to be completely erroneous. But it's hard to wash this stink off you when you get it on you. The accusations are heavy, man. Heavy, because it's just hard to get. You can get cleared, and but like the Duke lacrosse story is the best thing. You can still bring up Duke lacrosse, and some people will go, "Oh yeah, they raped that one lady."
No,
you go, no. She absolutely, totally made it up, all of it,
and admitted it before. She's dead now, right? Didn't she die?
I think she died. Yeah, but she admitted that she had. Again, that's an example of how the allegation can be enough. So I'm trying to preach to the choir here because I'm trying to tell myself not to just automatically assume the worst because there's an allegation out there. But it's hard because you hear this stuff and you go, oh, yuck.
Because it dominates the news so much. And you're right. I guarantee there's still people who don't know the full story or haven't followed the Duke lacrosse who still think those guys are guilty.
Or hear Duke lacrosse and go, oh, yeah. Remember when that story happened? They don't know the 10-year follow-up.
So, it'll be interesting to see how this story develops. But I think it's a fun showdown tonight. If Houston can dictate the pace of the game, which I thought they did a decent job against Duke, but
at the end, definitely.
At the end,
that's a good. Yeah.
But it can't be in the 90s or they're going to lose. If they can slow it down, they play tremendous defense, and this is the national title game.
Just like when they played Iowa State, if they can muddy it up. They can play that rock fight basketball. Not quite to that level, because they've got the athletes to run too. They're really good, man. Travis, did both of these teams, I want to go back and see now. Got it in my notes somewhere. Did both of these teams fit into that super, remember Ken Palm's magic formula?
Oh, the offensive production, defensive production.
Florida and Houston were two of those teams.
Because there were 8 total, I think.
Yep, there were 8 total. Duke, Auburn, ISU, Tech, Clemson, Arizona, and St. Mary's. And then Florida and Houston.
So all 4 of those teams made the Final Four too, right? So the analytics didn't lie.
Pretty good.
The analytics didn't lie. Somebody asked earlier if they still do One Shining Moment, and they do. I know a lot of people who watch the NCAA basketball tournament just to watch One Shining Moment. And they try to get every team that participated in there. It'd be interesting to see what Iowa State play they use, what Drake play they use. Maybe a Bennett Sturts bucket. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I be honest, Trav, it is one of those things. I know a lot of people love it. Like they stick around, and that's like the highlight of it. I haven't, and maybe it's because I'm an early riser. I have not watched One Shining Moment for well over a decade.
I'm with you. Like once the game's over, I'm like, okay.
I probably won't. I mean, if the game, unless it's a really great game that's keeping me, dude, it's going to be late tonight. I'm sorry. It's going to be late.
And a little secret between me and you, I don't like the song.
It's weird. But again, we are going after a golden goose here, dude.
I know.
That's not worth fighting for because it's just going to, there are people that are pissed off already.
Remember when they changed it a couple years ago where they didn't use is it Luther Vandross who sings One Shining?
Luther Vandross does One Shining Moment,
yeah.
Right?
But didn't they use like Jennifer Hudson a couple years ago? And people like protested. They're like, no, we need Luther Vandross.
Wait. Is it Luther Vandross? It is, right?
What does your Google machine say?
David Barrett?
I thought it was Luther Vandross.
It says artist is David Barrett, and this is it. The ball is tipped, and there you are. You're running for your life. You're a shooting star. What? I swore that was somebody more famous. Never heard of David Barrett.
Ooh, either have I.
Yeah. Straight again.
Have we been lied to all this time?
Are we nuts? Okay, all right. Chris Borey is helping us out here.
Okay.
One Shining Moment, Luther Vandross version, song and lyrics by David Barrett.
Okay.
But Luther Vandross is the singer.
Okay. Am I wrong to think that they switched Luther Vandross up a couple years ago and brought in Jennifer Hudson?
I feel like there was some sort of thing with that. Yeah. But I don't remember. This is a golden goose for people. There are people that will be pissed off that you and I don't love this thing because it's a thing for people.
They like the nostalgia. They like the drama, the way they edit it and put it together. 515-517-2303. We're here till 8 o'clock today. We come back. There's something big happening today in the NCAA, and that is, there's a little hearing with the NCAA and the House suit. So a lot of things. I don't know if they're going to come up with a decision today or not, but again, people are starting to think about the legislation that is happening in the NCAA concerning pay for play and how that's going to change everything and what it really means. You're probably not going to like it because it's going to get muddier before it gets better, and we'll talk about that when we come back on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive at therushradio.com.
You got me falling hard, sweet baby, got me falling hard for you. And still, I felt this way before, you know it's true. And still, you got me more and more. Oh, you got me falling hard.
You've dreamed about an absolutely organized garage or closet? See it for yourself at Absolute Garage & Closet's beautiful showroom in Urbandale. See the latest in garage storage, custom closet systems, and epoxy flooring applications up close, and imagine how good it will feel to have your garage, closets, or other spaces absolutely organized. Free consultations, friendly service, and quick project turnarounds, Absolute Garage & Closets is ready to bring peace of mind into your home. Visit Absolute Garage & Closets at 3169 99th Street in Urbandale or at absolutegarage.net.
Spring is here, and so are spring pests. Whether it's birds in your dryer vent, raccoons in your chimney, squirrels in your soffit, ants in your kitchen, or bats in your attic, with over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions can help. Call us today at 515-218-3400 to schedule your inspection and see how Bats and Bugs can help prevent your home from becoming their home.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
We here at Willis Automotive pride ourselves on providing the utmost in hospitality, treating everyone who walks through our doors like a guest in our home. And during our Friends and Family Sales event, we extend that philosophy to our prices. From our Willis Automotive campus in Clive to each location across the metro, we have over 575 pre-owned vehicles for sale at our special pricing, including 55 vehicles priced less than $18,000. Visit our website at willisauto.com or stop into our many locations across the metro and experience the Willis difference today.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
Missing a quality home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make. Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig, Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah. Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Looking for the perfect golf escape? Experience links-style golf right here in Ames at Coldwater Golf Links. With rolling fairways, large greens, and unique routing, it's golf the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you'll love our course's welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. Grab your clubs, book a tee time, and make every round unforgettable. Coldwater Golf Links, where great golf leads to great memories. Visit coldwatergolf.com to book your round today.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show at therushradio.com. Powered by Willis Automotive. Hey, our good friends at Atlantic Coca-Cola Bottling Company doing something pretty cool. If you saw this, Ross, but you buy a 28-ounce Powerade, and a portion of that goes to the Swarm Collective. So Brad Heinrich's working closely with the Atlantic Coca-Cola Bottling Company, and I love the Powerade Zero. Powerade Zero.
Yeah, I'm with you. Trying to cut out the sugar, so the Powerade Zero, like that a lot. Kids like it. That's nice. Also had speaking of our friends at Atlantic Coca-Cola Bottling Company, I had a Topo Chico.
Oh, I've got a lot of Topo Chico here right now.
Do you?
Yeah.
I had a Topo Chico yesterday with my fish
What kind
fry.
did you have? What kind did you have?
Lemon lime.
Okay, yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It's good. I really enjoyed it. Refreshing.
I've got a blueberry that's really good. I think I have like a tangerine maybe, and then I have the lemon lime. So, So, and then my wife had the Coca-Cola orange cream soda, and she had the Coke Zero version of it, and she's like, "Oh, this is really, really good. Really, really good." So, yeah. So if you want to drink the Topo Chico, the Core Power, regular Coke, Coke Zero, and the Powerade now, because when you buy a Powerade, a portion of that goes to the Swarm Collective.
Very nice.
Yeah. Speaking of the Swarm Collective, you got to be wondering if Brad Heinrichs and even Brett Bloom up at the We Will Collective is going to be watching the hearing that will take place today on the House settlement. So, Ross, this House settlement's been talked about, over a year now, maybe longer than that. And there's not expected to be a ruling today. So they're going to have the hearing. What is expected, this is according to Charlie Baker from the NCAA and most other experts, there's no guarantee, but they are expecting the judge to hear everything and then make a ruling later on. And which is kind of frustrating. Like, how do you not make a ruling today? I mean, everybody's been pretty prepared with this. If she accepts it, the judge, that will mark the biggest fundamental change in college sports that we've seen in a long, long time. But also, I think the consensus here is this, and it's kind of frustrating because I do think, listen, the NCAA is we know has not been perfect. We fully understand that. But what you will probably see if this House lawsuit goes through or a settlement is going to be a lot more lawsuits. They are getting ready for an influx of lawsuits. One, because they're capping revenue at $20.5 million. They're going to say you're restricting earnings at that point. I have no problem with a cap. I mean, other sports have a salary cap to which they work in. I think what the NCAA is saying is, listen, it's a start. Is it perfect? By no means,
Right.
no.
Yeah,
But you
it's
have
good.
to start. You have to start somewhere, right?
Yeah,
and
you're right.
It's not like that revenue can't go up once you and not every university is going to be able to
Meet
do
that.
the 20. Meet
right.
that.
Right. Not even close to every university is
Yeah.
going to be able to meet that.
I mean, we talk about how much money is in college sports, and there is, but it's not like every university has $20.5 million laying around that they can spend on revenue. One thing I do like about this is that every NIL deal over $600 has to be vetted. So we're talking about transparency there. I think a lot of people want to know some transparency when it comes to NIL. What are you getting paid for? What is your deal? I don't have a problem with vetting deals that people have in place.
No problem with that at all. In fact, I think, Travis, that would be a great... Man, we could squell a lot of these rumors. Is that the right word? We could squash a lot of these rumors.
Well, who's the wrestler who's getting $5 million?
Bo Bassett, who's come out and said figure's not correct. And like when we asked Brad Heinrichs about it, what was his response? I'm not giving him $5 million. There's room. We see somebody in the chat right now. I've seen these rumors flying around about Joshua Jefferson headed to LSU, reportedly offered $2.5 million. Guy, we have heard these since the dawn of NIL. We have heard these things.
Astronomical numbers.
Numbers get flown around all the time. I'm drawing a blank on the young man who was the point guard for Iowa State who went to Texas. Golly. Anyway, not important because it ended up being not important. Iowa State got better.
It really did.
And so, you can, but there were all sorts of rumors about how much money was being floated out. We have no idea. It was Hunter. Thank you so much, Sean. Tyrese Hunter. We have no idea how much Bo Bassett got. And do we need to know? No, by no stretch. But I do think that this question mark, that this blank space of knowledge that we fill it in with garbage. We fill it in with garbage. Every time a kid leaves now, for any opportunity, for whatever reason, the kid can come out and say, I'm leaving this school because of XYZ. It doesn't matter. People, I'm reading between the lines. Just all about money. I feel like the transparency would help with a lot of that. I'm with you. Get all this above board. Travis, you may have swung me a lot, or the NCAA, using that NCAA line of, is this perfect? No. But is it
even the
improvement?
NCAA said, hey, it's not perfect, but right now
we can
it's a
start
mess.
to move the ball in the right direction with this step. And I think that's probably the best selling point of we know this isn't going to appease everybody, and this isn't going to be perfect for every university, but we think this is a start. Okay, so the very first thing you asked about was the why wait on the decision. And I think that's an important thing here for us as sports junkies to know that this is a really good thing, that a judge has no preconceived, very little. They're smart people. They're engaged people. They're a part of society. Very little preconceived notion on which side is right or wrong on this, and needs to go into that courtroom with a blank slate and absorb both sides of information and take some time to make that decision. Have you ever seen that thing and I know I'm going to piss off half the people listening by mentioning this guy's name, but I think he is a very smart man, And have you ever seen that thing of Elon Musk when he takes like 12 seconds to answer a question?
Yes.
Somebody asks him a question and you see him stop and like
think about his answer.
Yeah. I don't need to rush into answering this. And a judge needs to do that. A judge needs to say, okay, I got to take some time and think about this and go through some other cases and, you know, not necessarily get other people's opinions, but form my own opinion based on a lot of other knowledge. So I think it's important that they do take their time on that. How much is that's for a debate, right?
You know, when it comes to restricting revenue, I have no problem with the salary cap because it's not restricting salary from an NIL deal, meaning that you still, to get more NIL money, you basically have to be someone who is able to produce or think can produce. My problem, my probably biggest problem with the House settlement, Ross, is the determining of fair market value.
Yeah.
My thing with fair market value is this. The market value is what anybody is willing to pay, right? And that is, you always hear, well, this person's going to be, and somebody new sets the market value in the National Football League almost yearly. Well, this is the highest paid tight end of all time. What made it that? Well, you wanted to pay him money because they thought you would bring you wins. Same with a quarterback. Is Shohei Ohtani worth as much money as he's getting paid? That set a new fair market value. It was astronomical. Nobody in the history of the game, of any sport, had been paid what Shohei Ohtani was. What determined that? Well, the Dodgers were willing to pay that. So if Iowa State's willing to throw out $8 million for somebody, you may say, well, that's not fair market value. Well, that's what they're willing to pay, so therefore it's fair market value.
I'm with you, Travis. I'm with you. And that, again, I relate a lot of things back to my real estate world because that's what I am 22 hours a day when I'm not talking to you. And if somebody is willing to pay it, that doesn't necessarily change the entire market, changes the value of that specific property.
Now, a bank may come back and say, that's way overvalued. We're not going to look.
And having it appraised is a whole other deal. Gary Presnall could walk you through that whole process. Yeah, whole different deal. But if somebody shows up with cash and says, I want to buy your property, and I want to buy it for an absurd amount of money, you're allowed to sell it.
Now, disputes between athletes and universities and NILs will be, through the House settlement, determined through an arbitrator. What we have here is professional sports, right? I mean, what we have here is professional sports. And there may be some pushback, but we are making the argument silently for contracts and employment of said university. That's what we're making. I mean, you don't want to say the words, but that's kind of what we're saying here is like, you're better off going.
And we got a Temple Grand in this thing, man. Let's use the right words. Yes. You're right, Travis. I don't want to come across the dick here. You're right that we are afraid to say those things. Why? Because we've been brainwashed by the NCAA into believing that amateurism is some sort of holy grail moral high ground. It's not. It's a scam.
It's pure.
It's pure. Thank you. That's a good. People feel that way. Right, and as I'm saying that, I guarantee you it's evoking some sort of emotion because we were told that over and over and over again. College sports are more betterer because we don't pay the kids. They're doing it for the love of the game, not for a paycheck where everybody else is cashing in. We've been brainwashed into thinking that somehow it's dirty to pay these players. Now, I will agree with you, Travis, that there's no academic side of this anymore. It's now an athletic contract between an academic institution and an athlete. That's what it is. And if they decide that there should be some sort of academic tie back through the two of them, terrific, and they can all fudge around those rules just like they did every other rule that was supposed to be there.
To be fair, I think for the majority of student athletes, academics plays a part. But
great point.
But
we got to clarify that from time to time. We're talking about football and men's basketball and an occasional women's basketball player.
And I would even say, hell, 60% of the football team still cares about academics.
Yes.
Right? But
These
it doesn't change
conversations that we're having.
Yes.
Listen, even when you talk to the coaches, and you say, how much is academics involved in these decisions? None. But we were all told that, like, we're all still regurgitating the same thing and feeling those same feelings. You say amateurism, you talk about contracts with players, and everybody goes, ooh, this feels gross. Why does this feel gross? Because we were told for decades that it was gross to pay the players until they were 21, 22, 23, and they hit this magic thing, and then they got to go to the draft, and then it was okay for them to be paid. But until then, how evil. And so it still feels yucky. It shouldn't feel yucky because it's not yucky. But
you need something that protects a player, but you need something that protects a university too, right? Because you are making an investment. And that's why I go back to the contract thing. I think I heard Jay Billis on with Mike Krzyzewski on his podcast talking about, why not, a contract. You make them an employee. It's a 3-year contract. And with an option for a 4th. If you want out of said contract, there's a buyout. We talked about buyouts last week.
We talked about that last week, yep.
Because a lot of universities are going, hey, well, Mickey Joseph brought it up at Grambling.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not trying to prevent my kid from going to Ole Miss. I'm not trying to prevent my kid from moving up, but that does damage to my program. After I've went out and found funds, how do I recoup some of that? So it's okay to say, if you negotiate in good faith, you just don't get to go, it's all about me, and you've screwed us over for years, so now it's our turn. That's not what's best for the overall system. The best for the overall system is players get paid, universities protected, and you're able to function much like a professional organization. And that makes the most sense to me, anyway. I like the idea of transparency. I like the idea of a salary cap because you can always work for that. That can always go up. I think what they're really worried about when it comes to restricting revenue, Ross, is, and maybe one of the first lawsuits that is filed is going to be a Title IX lawsuit because 95% of this money is going to football.
Dude, listen, this is another soapbox I'm going to get on. I've been telling people for a long time, we misunderstand Title IX, and it's going to take that lawsuit for us to finally break down exactly what Title IX was intended to be. Now, is it possible? I'm going to be really cocky here for a second. Is it possible that a judge misinterprets Title IX and makes a bad ruling? It's possible. Title IX is about equal opportunity, not equal outcome. The football coach does not have to be paid the same salary as the women's basketball coach. Hell, the women's basketball coach doesn't make the same as the men's basketball coach. It's not about equal outcome. It's about equal opportunity. And this is going to get argued in a courtroom. You're right. But it's a pretty simple breakdown. Should Caitlin Clark have had to share her money with the field hockey team? Should
No.
Caitlin Clark have had to share her money with the backup quarterbacks?
No. It's her money.
Yeah. So why then should it be the other way around? Well, because of fairness.
Life's not fair.
Okay. All right. It's going to get argued in court, and my bet is on a cultural re-understanding of what Title IX was all along. And again, another thing where we look around and go, oh, wow, this was not what we thought it was all this whole time.
I have no problem saying you have more opportunity to play sports. You get
no doubt
equal
and
recruiting budget.
Yes. All that stuff should be equal. I absolutely agree with you. Then once we start paying everybody for what they're worth, which is what you talk about, fair market value, we're talking about what are you worth? What value do you bring to the organization? And then shouldn't you be compensated fairly for that?
I mean, I think Caitlin Clark, and you could say Juju Watkins, is a great example of real NIL. State Farm, Hy-Vee, all these people saw the value there and made an investment.
The rest of it's pay to play, dude.
Yes.
The rest of it's pay to play. Jefferson, and I just use it because it's the latest rumor that's in my head. But if LSU is calling a kid in Ames and saying, hey, we'll give you $2.5 million, it's not because, Popeye's Chicken wants you to come down, or Louisiana hot sauce wants to sign you on. We're paying you to come play basketball. What else do I have to do with it? Rebound? What do you mean, what else have you come to practice and be on campus?
Take some online classes. You don't even have to go to class anymore. You can go to online class.
Right. Let's call it what it is. I ain't here to learn no school, Cardale Jones.
But when it comes to the distribution of money, why I don't have a problem with 95% of it going to football is that football pays all the bills for the athletic department. That's the revenue generator. Sure, basketball makes some money. Women's basketball might make a little bit of money. But at the end of the day, what sport pays all the bills?
Football.
And it's football. And therefore, I mean, to me, if you wanted to break it down Title IX-wise, go, okay, we're going to break this down into equal opportunity, into you get the percentage of revenue you actually bring to said university. If men's basketball brings 10%, well, you get 10% of that $20.5 million. If football brings 90%, it gets 90%.
I like the idea that it was the Grambling coach, right?
Yeah, Mickey Joseph.
Oh, what's up? Oh, okay. All right. It's okay. I'm sorry. Oh, okay, I'll help you out in just a second. See if Bubby can help you. I need to eat.
Don't you know how to pour cereal into a bowl and some milk?
Well, the cereal's on top of the fridge, so maybe that's something I should change, is how the cereal gets accessed.
Get a little stepladder.
This is something that I've seen.
Yeah,
I love what the coach said about compensating the school back. And I think Todd has either mentioned this a few times on our chat, or I've seen a few different people mention this on our chat. They do this thing in soccer, Travis, where a team will lend a player. They'll literally rent a player to another team. So, like, if Liverpool has a young star, but they've already got a guy that's starting ahead of him, they're paying this young star, $1 million a year to sit the bench. Well, that's kind of dumb. So what they do then is they rent that player to a lower club and say, you pay us half his salary, and you can let him, and he can score goals for your team. He's going to continue to get better. It benefits us because at least he's getting playing time, and we get a little bit of cash out of it, right? So I've seen a few people say that's what this could look like. Where Alabama signs a kid and says, listen, you're going to be our starting quarterback in 2 years. We're going to pay you $1 bajillion to sit the bench for 2 years. But in the meantime, go to Drake. And we're gonna rent you to Drake.
Or
for
Troy.
a couple years. Or
we're going to send you to Troy.
Yeah. Fill in the blank. Anyway.
I mean, there's so many possibilities.
These are the kind of outside the box ideas that I like. This is how conversations work. You got to stretch these ideas and say some crazy stuff, and then that allows you to have the more reasonable conversations of moving the ball forward.
But that's what we come up with the House settlement. Too many times, whether it's in government, politics, whatever. Everybody wants the perfect answer right away. There's no such thing. You don't know. You have to start somewhere and refine after that.
I like that. Travis. It's that's a really good attitude to have for this, because it is change. It's positive change. It's not perfect, but man, perfect's probably a long ways away right now. Again, it's getting through the mud.
Yeah, and there's a lot. And what happened was we had 100 years of the NCAA not changing at all, not moving its cheese. It's being forced to.
Yeah.
So you take a history of what they've done and try to change it immediately. There's going to be bumps in the road, and we're going to see those bumps in the road. But the last thing I want to see is more litigation. The last thing I want to see is more lawsuits. I just wish people would go, okay, before we jump into the courtroom, let's just see what happens here. And then if you see something, maybe that's the time. But they are expecting lawsuits almost the day that the House settlement is approved, that you're going to see this thing being taken to court. So it's, I don't know. You get sick and tired of the litigation. You just want the system to improve. It's better than it was 5 years ago. It's better than it was 6 years ago. Even though it's a mess from a transfer portal standpoint and the lack of transparency, you still have players getting paid, which they deserve. They deserve to make money off their name.
The name, image, likeness thing so quickly became the pay to play. So, again, I think that there's an important part of this of just calling it what it is, and maybe that's something that comes from this today, is that we're allowed now to just talk about these things the way they should be. Contracts, employees, multi-year contracts with potential rollovers, buyouts for players. These are things that I'm glad we're having these conversations, but man, a lot of big stuff to fix.
A lot of big stuff to fix.
That was a bad one. You almost said the word.
Sorry, I didn't mean it. I've reached out to Brad Heinrichs. I haven't heard back from him. We'll try to get Brad on tomorrow to kind of talk about what this means from an NIL standpoint. Got the national championship game tonight. Houston taking on Florida. I didn't get to Iowa baseball. They had their 10-game Big Ten winning streak snapped yesterday by Northwestern. Still sitting in second place in the Big Ten standings. But Iowa baseball playing really, really well right now. For Ross Peterson, I'm Travis Justice. Thank you so much for listening today. We'll be back tomorrow with another edition of the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
Spring is here, and so are spring pests. Whether it's birds in your dryer vent, raccoons in your chimney, squirrels in your soffit, ants in your kitchen, or bats in your attic, with over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions can help. Call us today at 515-218-3400 to schedule your inspection and see how Bats and Bugs can help prevent your home from becoming their home.
You've dreamed about an absolutely organized garage or closet? See it for yourself at Absolute Garage & Closet's beautiful showroom in Urbandale. See the latest in garage storage, custom closet systems, and epoxy flooring applications up close, and imagine how good it will feel to have your garage, closets, or other spaces absolutely organized. Free consultations, friendly service, and quick project turnarounds, Absolute Garage & Closets is ready to bring peace of mind into your home. Visit Absolute Garage & Closets at 3169 99th Street in Urbandale or at absolutegarage.net.
Spring is here, and there's never been a better time to get your Infinity in for your regular maintenance. Right now, Willis Infinity is offering $25 off maintenance services, such as fluid flushes, differential services, fuel system services. We're also offering $50 off per axle on brakes, and we have our $400 spring end service special. It includes an oil change and more. Visit with your advisor for the full details. Give us a call or head online to willisinfinity.com.
Missing a quality, home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
Looking for the perfect golf escape? Experience links-style golf right here in Ames at Coldwater Golf Links. With rolling fairways, large greens, and unique routing, it's golf the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you'll love our course's welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. Grab your clubs, book a tee time, and make every round unforgettable. Coldwater Golf Links, where great golf leads to great memories. Visit coldwatergolf.com to book your round.